or a switch or just a ball valve, absolute authority over your gas in your classrooms, so that a student cannot turn it on unless you deem it necessary that it be turned on. In this case, 4 classrooms at one time run off of one large solenoid electronic valve that is up in the ceiling. This controller that is in this room is the controller for it. You can turn it on and off manually, and you can panic. It's also, for the main reason it's being used, is tied into the fire alarm system. So if it goes off in the building, it sends a signal to this controller, which automatically shuts that electronic valve that controls 4 gas lines run into 4 classrooms. It does the same thing in the other 2 wings. There's 3 units total. Each one of them control, I believe, 4 classrooms. So there's a lot of communication needing to be done within the science, biology, physics department of when you're going to do something. Scheduling will be most important, since you do not control one in each one of your classrooms yourself. So when Miss Betty wants to do one in her room, and Miss Sue and Miss Jane and Miss Margaret are all going to be disciplined, have to kind of know we're going to have this on, so kids don't open turrets, so that you don't have open turrets. The most important thing I can say in this type of setup, not the prime one in my opinion, but it's the way it's done, is communicate, are any turrets open in any classroom? Do you have your main ball valve closed below your teacher's station?
Teacher station.
I think the teacher station have a locked cabinet that has a ball valve in it, a shut-off valve. If you're not using it in your classroom, have that thing in an off position always. If none are being used in all 4 of the classrooms, and your communication puts it that you're not going to have any for a period of time, and that period of time could be 24 hours, it could be a week or longer, have this unit in an off position. That way a ball valve doesn't get broken into and opened up and then expose gas anywhere they want.
Okay, and that's our biology department. So.
Okay? But the biggest thing I can say is communication will be needed
Quick question for
amongst
Jacob.
those classes.
The keys for those teacher stations, we don't have any. Does China have it?
Gotcha.
And I was just informed by the contractor who put all those in that they should all be in an off position and locked down right now.
Right. They are.
So if I go in here and start messing with this system to show you how it worked, they're not, and we got turrets open, we will hear somebody in one of these classrooms being used, or we will get gas expelled. That's the problem with setting them up for multiple classrooms off of one controller. But if I can show you what I'm talking about, let me grab my key, because this is going to be redundant of what you're going to get in the mail very soon, along with the warranty paperwork.
I have 3 keys.
Okay, those are already yours, and you're going to get a lanyard that says Isomet, and it'll have another one of those keys. It won't have a secondary key. This is made for a larger unit for gas, water, electric, and fan that opens with a key.
All right, so this controller is for these 2 labs and the 2 labs upstairs.
Is that the way it's laid out? I can't tell you that.
Yes.
Okay, as long as you know which ones are, do you have to communicate with when you're going to turn it off or on? So right now it's in an off position. We have no lights on. Green would be on. Red would be off. Both would be a panic situation caused by either hitting this button, which it didn't happen because if I open it, it's probably in an off position. We got the power off probably this unit inside. Screwed up. You have one on you? I got one in my bag. Got it. Inside here, maintenance, no really any reason to get in here. When I did the startup months ago, it was clean, it's still clean. This is all solid state, this is all fuses. If this thing didn't work, chances are it's a solenoid. The only reason you come in here then is to see if any of the resets, and there's only one set of resets for one solenoid on this unit, is popped. Here are the resets right here on the right-hand side. So if you don't have any communication, if it's not working, you can't get gas out of a turret. And this unit is in an on position, which I'm getting ready to do. And little Susie and little Johnny just tried to turn it on, but they're not getting it on because they have not keyed this unit. It's absolute authority. Now, when you turn it on, it's on, but it's not on forever. It's a momentary key. It comes back to that position. You remove it. The key remains around your neck or in administration's hands. You now have gas on 4 labs. You can manually turn it on. Little Susie wants to turn it back on. It's not going to come on. Got to key it again. If fire alarm or somebody panics the unit, you get an array of both lights. It shuts down the solenoids. Again, cannot be turned on unless it's keyed again. So you get a fire alarm in the building, and I'm going to turn it off because you don't know if any turrets are open anywhere. If a fire alarm goes off and you come back to using these labs after everything's been cleared, somebody should probably come check this unit if you want to use gas, because it's going to stay in that panic unit, in that state of panic, until somebody rekeys it. So it turns into panic from hitting the button, which I don't expect any teacher to get keys and come this far to go hit a panic button if there's a problem. That's why it should be in the room, and hopefully one day we'll get that far on your next designs. But the way it works is turn it on. I always teach to keep it in an off position until it's needed. And when you know you're going to have an experiment, communicate with the other 3 classrooms in this state. We're going to have an experiment. We need gas today. That teacher comes, gets access through maintenance or administration, keys it, goes back to the class and starts. After you're done, come shut her down.
If we have a fire drill or a fire, do I have to come hit that emergency button?
No, the alarm automatically is tied into this unit and it's already been tested.
That's what you were saying.
So a fire alarm signal comes into this unit on this PC board tied in right here that will shut it down automatically.
Okay.
It sends a signal in here which sends it onto the electronic solenoids and shuts it. The only thing you'll have to remember is it has to be reactivated, rekeyed, reset, however you want to call it, once it's over and you have done that alarm has been ceased.
Okay. So to summarize, there needs to be communication amongst the 4 labs. Turning it on and off is done right there. And then once it's on, at each individual teacher station, they can turn it on and off in that classroom.
With a ball valve in their locked
Ball valve.
cabinetry of their teacher station.
Right. So if everybody else is in the off position, that teacher should be fine to go.
Correct.
Right. So communication there, and maybe even check it to make sure those are done before the experiment happens.
If you don't get gas, the first thing to check is your ball valve in your room. Second would be, is this unit on? And then your ball
The
valve.
reset button. I ain't
Yes.
got a call. So I
This
won't
reset
get
button.
it. I know, but you got something else inside there, or that's just the key.
The reset in here is a electronic reset.